So Samsung has been, shall we say, rather prolific when it comes to hoying fresh new smartphones at us this year. In fact, we've had 3 of the bastards just this week, bringing the grand total up to, what, 7? 8? I honestly don't know. I lost my ability to count after my 5th one of these buggers. Or was it the 10th? But yeah, these guys out new smartphones like Disney cranks out fresh new Marvel toss, and apparently Samsung is far from done in 2025. But next on Samsung's launchpad, according to leaky blokes online, is the Galaxy S25 FE, a slightly more affordable Fan Edition flavoured version of the pretty decent Galaxy S25 Plus. It's set to launch in just a couple of months, but will it be a big upgrade over last year's Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, and better value than that Galaxy S25 Plus? Well, here's a partially pissed northerner reading some rumour type stuff off of his smartphone for your viewing pleasure. It's kind of hot content that the world really needs right now. Jingle me. Tech Spurt Weekly. Now, some rumours reckon that the S25 Fan Edition will be lighter and slimmer than the old S24 Fan Edition, but don't expect anything quite as slim as that Galaxy S25 Edge. It seems that the new FE will be about the same thickness as the Galaxy S25 Plus. And indeed, it should once again sport a 6.7-inch screen, except with slightly chunkier bezels. Sadly, it won't be quite as tough as the Galaxy S25 Plus overall, but the armour aluminium frame and that Victus Plus glass should help to stave off scratches. And don't despair, because Samsung apparently won't be shrinking the battery size as a compromise for the slimmer chassis, a move which completely crocked the S25 Edge and made it about as enjoyable to use as a sandpaper butt plug. Unless you're a masochist, that is, in which case it's nowhere near that good. In fact, according to the latest leaky shenanigans, the battery capacity will actually be increased for the Galaxy S25 Fan Edition versus last year's S24 FE. But before you whip off your pants and start swinging them over your head in absolute delight, don't get too carried away, because we're talking a rather meagre upgrade here from 4700 mAh to 4900 mAh. Still better than a kick in the cock though, and at the very least it's a match for the Galaxy S25 Plus, not quite as big as the battery stuffed inside of the Galaxy A56. And you may want to indulge in some moderately jolly pants swinging at the news that the charging speeds are finally being boosted from 25 watts to 45 watts. Get in. And of course, the battery life is also rather dependent on the actual chipset running the show, which in this case is the same 4nm Exynos 2400 platform that powered the Galaxy S24 and S24 Plus last year. And that's a rather measly upgrade over the slightly lower clocked 2400E, which was stuffed inside of the Galaxy S24 Fan Edition. But still, the Exynos 2400, while not exactly beefy, was good enough to run stuff like Wuthering Waves with those graphics nudged up a wee bit. It's certainly not a Jason Momoa or Jason Statham as far as beefiness goes, more like a Jason Donovan after doing a few push-ups and star jumps. As for the screen tech, well, the Galaxy S25 Fan Edition may rock the same size of display as the S25 Plus, but just like last year's FE, that resolution has been scaled back to Full HD+. However, this year's Galaxy S25 FE will apparently boast LTPO tech to automatically scale the refresh rate depending on what you're up to, and therefore hopefully give that battery life a further kick up the arsehole region. And leaks reckon that Samsung will stick with the exact same rear camera hardware as last year's FE, and that's a decent-ish 50meg main shooter, a bog standard 12meg ultra-wide, and an 8meg telephoto snapper that's about as thrilling as the Pope's OnlyFans page. But apparently the old 10-megapixel selfie cam sensor will be replaced with a fresh new 12-megapixel sensor for the S25 FE. Almost certainly the same sensor slapped on the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus. And yeah, the camera setup on the S24 FE was pretty standard for a Sammy blower, pumping out bright snaps with quite heavy processing on display at times. But as usual, it's a proper crowd pleaser, so you can expect similar results from the S25 FE. Now, early rumours about this year's Fan Edition had the storage options starting at just 128 gigs, but considering the Galaxy A36 and A56 started from 256 gigs, Seems to me that these leaks contain more bollocks than the average supermarket sausage roll. So I'd absolutely expect 256 and 512 gig options for the new S25 FE. You could also expect it to come with the latest Android 16 and One UI 8 launcher slapped on there out of the box, just like what we got with the Galaxy Z Fold 7, Z Flip 7 and Z Flip 7 FE. All of which I've shot videos on this bloody week. And here I am yet again banging on about more Samsung phones in this video. Should change the name of the channel to Samsung Spurt. But anyway, that's what we reckon we know so far about the fresh new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE, which, if those rumours aren't a leaky bag of arse evacuations, should be launching sometime around September. And I've got to admit, so far it seems that if you want to get a more affordable version of a Samsung flagship, maybe just grab last year's S24 Plus, which you should be able to find a pretty good deal on, and it'll still enjoy years and years of OS and software support. But hey, that's enough of me banging on. How horny are you for the Galaxy S25 FE? Are we talking Tim Curry in Legend levels of horny? Or maybe just Harry Potter in that Horns film, what nobody saw, so no one will get that reference. Just ever so slightly horny, not really much at all, especially for a film called f***ing Horns. Well, please do let us know in the comments below. And now it's time for Uncle Spurt's We Won. Uncle Spurt's We Won. It's a short review, not his penis. Now the tagline for this week's gadget is where intelligence meets intimacy, which kind of makes it sound like a Gary Kasparov porno, which of course I'm 100% down for. But this isn't some brainy box wankfest, sadly. Nope, it's the Enabot Ebo Air 2 Plus, a family companion robot. Alright, so stick that on the base like that. Looks like it's coming to life. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so the Ebo thing has come to life. He's now staring right at me. And as you can see, if you download the Ebo app, you can actually get a real-time feed direct from his camera, which is right there between his terrifyingly huge eyes. As you can see, he's a dinky wee fella about the size of my hand. You've got a talk button up top and a microphone, a speaker in his sort of arse area, as well as a USB port. And he runs on two tank-like treads, and when he needs to charge up, you just slap him right there on his dock. And it looks like we can control him direct from the app, so let's give this a go. Can you move forwards? Oh, Jesus, yes you can. So you can remote control this wee fella and basically send him wherever you fancy. Otherwise, this robot can use its 5 meg 137 degree wide-angle infrared camera to track you, or your family members, or your pets, and basically hunt you down wherever you wander, as long as you don't go up any stairs or get pissed off and punted across the room. And despite its dinky size, the Ebo Air 2 Plus can apparently negotiate bumps of up to 10mm in height while traversing the old homestead. So let's give it the old rug test. Oh, almost. Poor little bugger. Kinda looks like me after too much whiskey. I'll also find a patrol setting here in the app, so you can get good old Ebo to wander about the house, just keeping tabs on everything. I imagine a burglar would absolutely shite their kecks when confronted with this terrifying wee beastie. But it'd be good for a bit of peace of mind if you are away from home and you want a roving security camera. Just make sure you don't leave lots of crap lying around, because the Ebo can get stuck fairly easily if you've got the old obstacle avoidance switched on. Now, as the Ebo is patrolling, you can get him to record every time it detects movement or a pet, or if somebody does give him a swift belt across the room, and you can actually be notified directly through the app with a video recording. So again, good bit of peace of mind if you are away from home. And if you happen to have buggered off down the pub and left the sprogs home alone or whatever, you can do a quick video chat using the Ebo to catch up with them. Just make sure they haven't burned the place down or anything. Just select video call on the app on your phone and your mug will pop up right there in Ebo's eyeballs. Isn't it all sinister and likely to give the wee tykes nightmares? And the Ebo also sports a built-in AI assistant, which you can activate again via the app or by tapping this wee button here. I believe it's ChatGPT powered.
Hi, what can I help you with?
You've got a variety of different characters that you can choose from. This one here is the funny man, so let's see just how funny he is. Tell us a joke.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
I mean, it's better than 99% of my material. And you got a 5,000 mAh capacity battery, so the e-book can keep going for a while. And when he's all tucked out, he can return back to his dock, get all powered back up again. So that's the eBook Air 2 Plus, which you can snaffle right now from Enabot's website for around £350. And now it's time for what is undoubtedly the third best section of the show. It's time for a lovely sack full of viewer comments. Viewer comments.
That's pretty funny.
So let's kick off this week with Sergius XVII. Hang on, I haven't done Roman numerals for a few decades. X is a 10, right? I think it's 17. Anyway, Sergius, maybe 17, says, first time watching and I can tell you're an acquired taste. Acquired taste is probably the politest way that anyone's ever called me an irritating so for that I thank you. Kim7 says, OMG, I'm so sorry, all this time I thought you were Australian. I mean, I drink a lot and I've got a funny accent, so it's only really the alabaster skin that gives me away. Benjamin Bork says, everything okay, mate? I do adore how I get this precise comment at least twice on every single video I post. I'm absolutely peachy, Ben. Thanks for asking. You know, the world is my oyster. Although I really do not like oysters. I think they're a bit gross and they just make me feel sick. So that probably does actually sum up the world quite nicely. Semi74 says, we'd welcome you up here in Iceland. We've got a volcano just for you at only 1100 degrees centigrade. So the UAE will look like Antarctica. You actually want to throw me into a volcano? I mean, I've been threatened with worse, but it still seems a little harsh. Now, Pharaoh Rewind, I don't know why I'm struggling to say this so much. Pharaoh Rewind says, can you review the content inside the bottles? I'm assuming you're referring to these bottles here, and hey, if it's found in a bottle, I'm absolutely down for reviewing it. As long as it's actually meant to be drunk, obviously. I've had some bad experiences with aromatherapy oils. Some XNS says, I see the story so far playing, absolutely phenomenal taste. Glenda88 says, great music choice by the way, Proper Dose is a beauty album. It is a proper cracker, definitely my favourite by those guys, straight after the self-titled. And Enemy AC 130 above says, was not expecting to see Born of Osiris. Absolutely cracking new album from those lads. I've had it on basically repeat pretty much since it came out. It was absolutely good to hear that they sort of semi-split up. Not sure if we'll get any more Born of Osiris albums, so that's sad, but it's got a pretty banging back catalogue. But yeah, I'm basically into any sort of punky, rocky, metal type music. The shoutier the better. Just helps to drown out the old voices screaming in the old noggin there. Cheesecake433 says, when will you review the Watch 8, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8? I've had it slapped on my arm for a while now, so hopefully get to it next week, because of course I haven't featured Samsung enough on this channel lately. Wordsmith451 says, a flick and a poke will usually get the job done. You speak truth. Enyo Eotech says, since when did the Number Taker do tech reviews? Hang on, is that weird villain guy from some sort of kids TV show in like the stupid hat? Because I have sort of vague recollections of that dude back when I used to do that segment, What Crap Celebrity Do I Look Like? If you're fairly new to the channel, just go back about 100 episodes of Tech Spurt Weekly, and yeah, I used to do this segment every week where people would say, I look just like this Number Taker fella, or Louis Spence, or Pep Guardiola. Basically anyone who's bald and looks vaguely gormless. And on the subject of Twixes, Jack Reviews Stuff says, I do like a good Twix. I mean, it's a classic, isn't it? Always an enjoyable and satisfying chocolate bar. Though as far as double finger snacks go, I probably would put it behind a Drifter and also possibly a Twirl. Although Twix definitely has the best name out of all of them. Twirl is a bit too easy breezy, and Drifter just sounds like it's gonna shank you in a 7-Eleven car park. Still on the subject of Twixes, Mythic Sun says, luckily Twixes are still part of the meal deal in most places, excluding motorway service station meal deals, as those are insane. I think I once saw a service station Waitrose doing a meal deal for £6. Aye, who the ruddy f*** is that a deal for, exactly? Quite a lot of chocolate chat last week, which I've completely forgot about. I also, of course, reviewed Dubai chocolate. And by reviewed, I basically mean I called it a bunch of overpriced cock scrapings. Phil G says, fantastic chocolate review. I have forwarded it to my missus as she doesn't believe me that it's And I quite like pistachios as well, which is like a major component of the Dubai chocolate, but honestly, almost a tenner for that. It's like those idiots who pay 50 quid for a scoop of ice cream in Dubai because they've sprinkled gold bits on it or whatever. Like, congratulations, you're going to take the most expensive shit of your life tomorrow, but it's going to be all sparkly and dazzly. Take a picture of that and shove it up on your Instas. And Toolman99 says, Furry Fiddler should be the name of your channel. Yeah, 99% accurate description, the fur just not on my head, obviously. But if you missed it, I did this past week just launch my second channel at long friggin' last. I've only been procrastinating about it for about 2 years now. It's not called the Furry Fiddler, sadly. That would have been a cracking name. No, it's called the Spurt Hole, and it's basically going to be filled with all kinds of boozy shenanigans and random that just won't really fit here on TechSpurt.
I can't even form words anymore.
So come, peer into my hole. You might like what you find there. Or, you know, you might not. It is a slight risk, I know. Anyway, a massive thank you to everyone who commented last week. Please do write some comments down below and we'll try and get through those as many. I can't spit, just do the jingle.
Next week, what the is next week?
So next week, yes, hoping to get to the old Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 review, and I've also been testing out the old Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7 for a wee while now, about 3-4 weeks I've been playing around with it, so hopefully get you a full review of this bad boy at long last, now that Samsung's stopped launching bloody phones. Unfortunately, no TechSpurt Weekly next week, maybe not the week after either. It's good old summer holidays, so taking a bit of a break. But in the meantime, hoping to get some fresh new content up in that Spurt hole as well, so go check that out. A massive thanks for making it through this shower of shit once again to the bitter end. Please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell if you haven't done already. Have yourselves a really wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everybody, love you!